Ladies and gentlemen, it's our latest evictee, Hugo.
Why did they send you home over the other two, Hugo?
Oh, God, probably because I'm a grade A bitch. Can we just, start with that? No, I think, honestly, in a lot of instances, it kind of goes back to people weren't really sure exactly where I stood to a degree, possibly. And I think that kind of came and bit me in the butt. I definitely did not. I think I played a little bit too sneaky with the deal, trying to make the shitty deals and the shitty, moves. So if I did make moves.
There was one particular point in all of the footage that I watched in the last few weeks that I feel might have gotten you into the most trouble. We know that you played a critical role in the last vote before the jury and who ended up going home in that elimination. It seemed that people had some sort of semblance of an idea as to who voted where when Vijarin went home, yet you vehemently fought that you did not do that. Did you consider copping to it, and do you think the way you dealt with that kind of led to them not trusting you and them viewing you as expendable ultimately?
I think the thing is, I didn't want to give that side too much power because, especially towards the end of this round and towards the end of this game, I kind of realized that one side of the house had a very stiff hierarchy system of how they were going to go about it. And I realized at the end of the game that it seemed like Daniel's side seemed to have more flexibility in potentially where your position may or may not lie. And I may not have saw it as clearly back then, but I'm really still glad that I did vote out Vijarin.
You had some interesting relationships in the house. We'll go over a few of those. Your friendship with Eric was a strong one. You felt very strongly about Eric in a positive way at the beginning, not so much a positive way at the end. Do you think it was all just game that distanced you apart? Do you still anticipate trying to be friends with him outside the house? Discuss that, because you loved him and then you did not love him.
Again, when Emily went home, that's kind of when I made the realization that where I stood with certain people wasn't exactly where I wasn't standing on the same level as I thought I was standing before Emily went home. As soon as Emily went home, things started turning in my head a little bit faster than before. I realized that Aaron and Eric, who I thought never talked, were talking, and there was just a lot of weird stuff going on with Eric. I think Eric's playing a lot dirtier a game than people like to think he's playing.
I will say this, in a sort of game aspect, and also talking about the relationships you had in the house, it seems like you had a really strong relationship with Emily. You had a really good friendship there. Because I would say that's probably, I would assume, not to put words in your mouth, but probably one of the better relationships that you had and one of the more fun relationships that you had in the house. Why don't you discuss your thoughts on her and the time you spent together?
After Eric kind of started moving out of the picture, Emily and I just came closer and closer. Mm-hmm. And so, Emily and I at this point talk almost every day or every other day. And, I don't know. I love the girl. She's really fun. And the same with Lily. If Lily would have stayed longer, I'm pretty sure it would have been just about the same kind of relationship.
What was of all the rounds you spent in the game, because you were in this game a long time, Hugo, you made it very far. You actually kind of surprised me, in all honesty. At first with that Rick fighting, I was like, he's out early. But you killed it. You went pretty far in this game. So with that said, what was your favorite memory? Can be game-related, not game-related, in the game from when you started till now?
Through the trials and the errors and the anger and the frustrations and everything, it was a good game. I've never been put through this. I'm not very often tested on my ability to kind of cope with frustration or anger because I don't generally live with that heavily in my life. So this was a good way to kind of see how do I kind of react in certain situations and how can I improve in a future date on these certain things. And I'm very grateful for that. And I really thank you guys for the opportunity to play this.
Who do you think follows you out tonight? Because somebody else is leaving this game tonight. Who do you think is in the jury house in a few hours' time?
If it is not Daniel or Kaya, I really genuinely hope it is Eric. Honestly, if everybody's fair game and everybody can go out, it probably will be Daniel. He always seems to have a trick up his sleeve or two, so I'm expecting that he'll stay. And this game has been way too unpredictable, so yeah.
Question is, who in this game, not necessarily who do you like, not necessarily who do you want, but who do you think is going to be taking home the win?
Honestly, at this point, I am probably just going to say Stephanie. I think Stephanie is killing it, and I think that she's playing about as under the radar as you possibly can at this point in the game, where I think that she actually has what it takes to win. I don't think anybody's going to let Mike or Eric go much farther in this game.
All right, Hugo, have fun in the jury house.
Bye-bye. Night, guys.
Take care.